with one of our brand partners, Bioharmonic Technologies. Today, I have Dr. Stephen Schwartz, who is the president and founder of Bioharmonic Technologies. The company was founded in 2007, but Dr. Stephen Schwartz is a doctor of chiropractic and has been since 1999. He specializes in the reversal of chronic illness, including autoimmune disease, allergies, depression, anxiety, and a whole laundry list of chronic illnesses. And has been doing that since 2000. He created this vibe system within Bioharmonic Technologies, all using vibrations and bioenergetics, but he can explain it a lot better than I can. So I'm going to bring Dr. Stephen Schwartz in to talk about this, and we'll wrap up here with some highlights. So welcome, Dr. Stephen, and thank you.
Hello, thank you so much. I appreciate that introduction. My name is Dr. Stephen Schwartz, and I'm here to talk to you today about the vibe system. And I lead webinars, we lead educational, informational sessions, but I've been developing technologies really since 2007, and I've been in practice long before that. So I'm going to talk to you about this technology, the vibe system, and give you a little bit of background about myself before we get started to go any deeper. And also we're going to be sharing some case studies and some other things like that as well too. So let's go ahead and get started. A little bit more about myself. This is my book that I wrote called Primal Resonance: Discover the Secrets to Health, Vitality, and Optimal Human Performance. And it talks about the top 10 ways on how to reverse aging and degeneration using sound, light, frequency, and vibration. Before this book was a book, it was a living, breathing clinic. This is in Denver, Colorado, where I was working with chronic degenerative conditions, allergies, autoimmune diseases, all using vibrational resonance, exclusively vibrational resonance. I started working with biofeedback systems and music. I came down the pike as well too. And the vibe system is one of the applied sciences, that I discuss in my book. But really in here, if you're interested in learning about what is the science that we're utilizing for this technology and really the whole platform, my entire career, you'll find it within my book, Primal Resonance. I'm the president and founder of Bioharmonic Technologies. I'm a chiropractor by license. I've been developing biofeedback systems and now other technologies for many, many years. I'm also a sound alchemist. And if you're wondering what that means, is I'm a formulator. I've been working with different frequencies and researching frequencies since 2007. And as you'd be making a pill or a homeopathic remedy or something like that, I've been formulating them into physiological protocols that you can use using sound. And I'm a regenerative medicine expert, like I talked about as well. So see, there's some of the early stages wanted to share. This is a young Dr. Schwartz in Peru back in probably, I don't know, 2007. You could see in this lower part of the screen an early biofeedback system I developed. A picture on the right, this is me recording my first album, Energy Clearing, and also in 2007. And these are the early schematics of the technology that I'm going to be sharing with you today, and the opportunity that you guys all have to begin to share this technology on your platforms. And these are some of the early pictures. And this is it. It's called the Vibe System, and it's an acronym. It stands for Vibrational, Individualized Body Enhancement System. And the whole reason that I started working with this in the first place was I asked myself the question, what is cellular memory? And I had an experience in Peru working with plant medicines in the early part of my day. And not that I was even looking for it, but I returned back to the United States experiencing a clearing of cellular memory, which I had no idea what that even meant. But as I started looking to the anatomy and physiology of it and really started pursuing it in my practice, it became a pillar of reversing chronic illness. And I guess that you saw some of the early pictures of that, of what we came up with in 2007. This is the most recent rendition. And what this does, it does three things. It clears cellular memory. It reduces shock and trauma. and it puts your body into a deep parasympathetic response. And in parasympathetic is when your body biochemistry is optimized. So whatever other modalities you might be utilizing, if your body's not in parasympathetic, your biochemistry is not optimized for healing. And that's what we're going for. So as a byproduct of all these things, these are some of the benefits. Improved mental clarity, regeneration of tissue, detoxification, stem cell activation, emotional balancing, and improved sleep. This is the most modern version that we have of the Vibe. We're going to talk about the different models in just a minute, but these are the advanced tech that's out there. This is the top of the line Lenovo Android 11 tablet. This comes standard with this product. We also see down here, it comes standard with our two apps. One is called Vibrafile. It's the world's first immersive music app. Everybody that receives this Vibe has a free pro subscription that includes 21 preset protocols, all 7 albums, 42 different tracks. And you have a full functioning tablet. So if you want to go online and go to YouTube or download other information on this tablet, you have access to it, and it's dedicated as part of this system. Also, they come standard, these branded Bioharmonic Technologies V-Moda headphones, which are amazing. These are some of the top headphones in the electronic music production industry and DJ industry. Now we have a partnership with them. It's actually what I'm listening to right here. They all come branded Bioharmonic Technologies, and they sound great. They're also Bluetooth accessible as well. And then they also, all the Vibe systems come with their own travel bag, custom travel bags with handles and wheels. They can fly on airplanes for free, actually. So that'll be for another time. I can talk about that conversation. And you get a downloaded e-version of my book, Primal Resonance. And as well as you have a Vibrafile app, you also get the access to Museo Player, which is in case you're not online, you don't have your music saved or anything like that, you can always access the music offline through the Museo Player app. All this comes standard as part of our Vibe system, which makes the system the best product in the market. I want to get into talking a little bit more about, actually, sorry, there was a slide. I want to actually talk about the two systems before we get into the science a little bit more. Forgive me, there was a slide that's missing. We have two systems. One's called a 3.1 and a 3.2. The 3.1 is the picture that we're looking at now. It has an ergonomic design. It has 4 vibratory centers inside the Vibe. Comes with all the accessories we just talked about. Double the foam. It's like our professional model. Then we have another model called the Vibe 3.2. And the Vibe 3.2 is like a massage table. It has more rigid foam. You can go face down on it. 2 transducers. It's lighter, and it's more of a practitioner model, and it's $1,000 less. So those are the 2 models that we have, and you can choose from either of them. Either of them is going to be offered, and I think there's also our LT model, which is doesn't come with the headphones or a metal frame or a tablet, but it has all the other components to it. I want to get into more of the science, because right now these are the products, but you might be asking yourself, why would I want to offer this? Because I know most of you are selling supplements and maybe some other products. Why would you want another modality like, that's going to cost thousands of dollars and sell this? Like, what's the niche to your customers? And it's all about bioresonance. And this quote really sums it up the most from Albert Einstein, the father of quantum physics, one of the fathers of quantum physics. And he says, everything is energy. That's all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but to get that reality. It could be no other way. This is not philosophy. This is physics. Thank you, Albert Einstein, for making this quote. A lot of people ask me, what are these vibes? And I say that they're interdimensional portals for your living space. And then a lot of people roll their eyes at me when I say that, but because of this quote, that's exactly it. Set your intention, set your goal. What are you wanting to accomplish, and what are you feeling at this moment? What are you wanting to call in? And then match up the sonic ceutical protocol, which we'll talk about in just a minute. And we align your connective tissue, your nervous system, to what your intentions are. And we literally align you into that vibrational resonance, into that reality. And now we're in that new dimension. It's just that simple. So these are truly interdimensional portals for your living space. And now you have the opportunity to share these with your community. I want to go a little bit deeper into why this is, because at the end of the day, it's a vibe. The vibe is a vibrating delivery system. The bed vibrates. And we refer to them as vibes, not beds, by the way. It's not a bed. It's not a couch. It's not a chair. It's not a mat. It's none of those things. It's a vibe system. It's a vibrational, individualized body enhancement system. And I want to talk to you more specifically about what we're going for in the research I talked about in my book. All this is in detail in my book, Primal Resonance. But it's really simple. I started studying the cells. And the cells have two components. There's water, and water is the underlying, 79% of our bodies is water. Water holds memory. Water is conductive, and it dilutes and detoxifies. And if we look to the right, this picture here on the slide, we look, almost every major organ in our body is mostly water. The brain is 75%, blood is 83%, heart 79%, the liver, kidneys, over 80%. So it's important that we drink water. And I do have one of the components we talk about is hydrate, vibrate, and gyrate. So we hydrate first, then vibrate second, and gets our cells gyrating. And that's the equation. Now, there's more to it than just water, because if we didn't have any structure, we'd just be this bucket of water. We'd be this blob, and we need more structure to that. So we're going to talk about the exoskeleton, which surrounds every tissue, system, and cell of the body. And this consists of what we refer to as the living connective tissue matrix. And it's part of the nervous system. Now, there's more. It's what gives the body shape, and what gives the body structure, and it receives information from its environment. I'm going to spend a good amount of time talking about this specific topic because it's really important. The living connective tissue matrix is part of something known as part of the nervous system. And from embryology, there's something called the ectoderm. It's the first forming material once the sperm fertilizes the egg, and we begin to go through a process known as mitosis, or how our cells replicate. And in this process, the brain begins to form, the spinal cord begins to form, the peripheral nerves begin to form, the cranial nerves begin to form. Also, the living connective tissue begins to form, and also all the nerves associated with your gut, and all the skin begins to form as well too. That's right. So when we're accessing the skin, it's not just the biggest detox organ, it's also the biggest sensory organ. It's also part of our nervous system. So this living connective tissue matrix surrounds every tissue, system, cell of the body, and it's made up of three fundamental biological materials known as microfilaments, microtubules, and intermediate tubules. These biological materials have one function. They respond to your environment through vibrational resonance. That's right. So through the energetics of our environment, which Bruce Lipton refers to as epigenetics, our environment is what shapes our biochemistry. So when I was wanting to influence biochemistry, I said to myself, what do we need to do? We basically need to influence the way that this microfilaments, microtubules, intermediate tubules, the living connective tissue matrix, are being influenced through our environment. And once we do that, we can change the way that our biochemistry changes. Really important. So that's an important concept. Two other things I want to touch base on. Every biological function of humanity is initiated through the living connective tissue matrix, through the microfilaments, through the microtubules, intermediate tubules. All of these initiate biochemistry, mitosis, how our cells replicate, signal transduction, how our cells communicate. There's more I talk about in detail in my book, and for the time of this webinar, that's the most I could share with you. But this is vitally important information. So we talked about the Vibe system, and we talked about the app, Vibrafile, but this is really the IP. This is the intellectual property, and this is what makes this system different than any other systems on the market. Our special music known as sonic-ceuticals. And this comes standard with your Vibe system. And you could choose from 42 different tracks, 7 different albums, and we're going to be expanding this library into 2024 as we're about to launch our Vibrafile 2.0 app. So these are some of the albums that you get a chance to choose from. Energy clearing. It clears negative energy out of your nervous system space and being. It's like sonic sage. Picture your clients coming in and just wanting to just been around a lot of people or weird energy. This will relax them and clear them. Great for your waiting room as well too. But you can also send your clients home. All your type A clients, this is great. Great for PTSD. Cellular attunement. These are 12 different emotional relationships for not just clearing and also balancing, bringing in new positive energetics. Sonic-Ceuticals Volume 1 talks about different physical healing modalities, including things like stem cell activation, wound healing, bone and tissue regeneration, and visceral healing, and others. Cell Cleanser is an anti-inflammatory detox protocol. So if you have people that suffer from chronic systemic inflammation, acute injuries, chronic pain, anything that has to do with inflammation, and also deep-rooted emotional trauma, Cell Cleanser is great for that. Spectrum works with anything on the autistic spectrum disorder, brain nervous system balancing, depression, anxiety, also increase of creativity activation. Also, it's great for spectrum. Transformation and abundance is exactly that. So all these first albums, these are all what I call present state sonic-ceuticals, meaning where are you in your present moment? We can shift that state. This talks about transformation and abundance. This is how do you want to step into the new dimensional reality of your choosing. And transformation is like a sonic vision board, and abundance is a sonic cup of coffee. It's an amplifier. It's a 15-minute beta brainwave state reset unblocker activator. It's amazing. So instead of going outside and smoking a cigarette at a break, you can get on the Vibe for 15 minutes and take yourself to another level. And then the journey has 3 different journeys: a tribal jungle journey, a journey of self-actualization, and a spaceship ride to Pluto. So these are all the sonic-ceuticals that come either hardwired through the Museo Player app or through our pro subscription of Vibrafile. And then really our 21 precept protocols is a combination of any of these sonic-ceuticals. The way that it's formulated, this is just an example of one of our albums, but you can look up the components, and all of this is found on our website, Bioharmonic Technologies. And you can go to music, and you can look up all the albums. They're all designed just like this. If you want to know what ingredients, we have 5 to 7 layers of specific programmed therapeutics that's set to designed music for creating different physiological effects. So this talks about different hertz that we include, brainwave states, mathematical ratios. Also, we have protocols on, if you're wondering how specifically you would use it, we have some suggestions. All of this is on our website, and it's going to be in a drop-down menu in our new 2.0 Vibrafile app. But this is just an example of how we design our sonic-ceuticals and how it can be utilized, not just for listening to music, but as a legitimate healing modality. And you might be asking yourself, okay, but do you have any research? Do you have any science that backs up first of all, I wrote the definitive guide on this topic, and I wrote it in 2014. And prior to that, I had 14 years of clinical experience working with patients for all those concepts, reversing the worst of the worst conditions. But since then, we've done EEG testing, that's for brainwave states. We've checked for biofield testing. And this is just a quick case study that we did with heart rate variability. And that checks for autonomic nervous system. This is all about autonomic nervous system reprogramming. So this is a 6-page document. I want to show you some of the things that we found. And this is a 26-year-old customer. And that if you look at the times on here, they were scanned, and they did a pre HRV scan, and then they did a sonic ceutical vibe session, and then they did a 20-minute scan after. And these are the results that we saw. So we're looking at this is psycho-emotional balancing, and this overall number is like 49 out of 100. And so we did a scan, and this shifted from 49 to 72 after just 20 minutes on the vibe. I think this next finding is really vitally important. What you see here is all this spiking of different brainwave states. These are all the different brainwaves. And you know what this is right here in a picture? This is ADD, attention deficit disorder. This is when you're in beta, in theta, in alpha, in delta, in gamma, all at the same time. No wonder people can't concentrate. So after 20 minutes of listening to a sonic ceutical, all the other ones baselined and just got a state in this delta, which is where parasympathetic exists. And this is where our biochemistry is optimized. This other chart here, we're talking about this being a 26-year-old. She ended up, before the scan, her biological age was registering at 29. And after 20 minutes on the vibe, it went down to 26, or to 23 rather. That's a change. All of these different formulations that we're looking at is a combination of adaptation frequencies, autonomic nervous system regulation, immune system function, and psycho-emotional relationships. And where we started this at, just know based off 100 to 0 scale, all of these were significantly under 50, except for the immune system function. But we're looking at 43, went to 82, went to the regulatory state, 29 to 91. Your immune system went from 64 to 75, and then your psycho-emotional state went from 49 to 70. And the last slide I want to share with you is this is amazing, actually. This is the energy moving through the spine. And if you're familiar with the term rest and repose, or if you've ever studied cranial sacral technique, cranium, sacral, the sacrum, that relationship between bringing balance between the cranium and the sacrum creates a parasympathetic activation. And the opposite of that is called is fight or flight, and that works with thoracolumbar. So when we look at this person, did a scan, they see green is in the cervical spine, but the whole rest of the thoracolumbar is elevated in suppressed levels. This is all sympathetic, or the orange. After 20 minutes on the vibe, we see a complete unification of the activation of the nervous system. And this puts this client into parasympathetic, into cranial sacral balancing, which is really an incredible finding. So just after 20 minutes. Oops. And then finally, what other thing I want to share? I know we're getting short on time, but I want to share with this. You might be saying that sounds great bioenergetically, but where does this affect the body physically? So we started testing urine and saliva, first in, first out. We checked for salt, sugars, proteins, pH. and we had the person pick a sonic ceutical of their choosing. And then we did a follow-up 30 minutes later, and we saw profound biochemical changes in every one of our clients that we tested with salt, sugar, proteins, and pH. So what that validates is that this is not just bioenergetic, that this bioresonance is interacting at the biochemical activation. And that's my theory, and that's what we've been validating. And now through the heart rate variability and through saliva and urine, we're able to prove this. And there's going to be more just testing going into 2024. So finally, I'd love to leave you with, this is my contact information, my direct email, Dr. Steve at Bioharmonic Technologies, my website, Bioharmonic Technologies. You can follow us on YouTube. This is my direct phone number. Also on Instagram, Bioharmonic Technologies. And you can also find me on Instagram at Dr. Vibe, DRVIBE. So this is a community. We're excited to be working with each and every one of you. This is an amazing modality that's going to transform your personal practices and the practices and the personal lives of the people that you are sharing your websites with. And whether you're going to want more advanced training with this, we offer that. You can contact us directly, and we're here to support you. So thank you so much. My name is Dr. Steven Schwartz, aka Dr. Vibe. And thanks for vibing with me and my entire company, Bioharmonic Technologies, and our global community.
Thanks, Dr. Steve. I like the name Dr. Vibe, but what I found really cool was that vibes actually stood for vibrational individualized body enhancement system. So it totally ties in and is very spot on. You didn't have to reach for any of those words. So I thought that was really cool.
Thank you.
I appreciate the case studies, testimonials of the results people were receiving, and then, to tie it in with the urine and saliva at the end. That was really cool to see that you're actually seeing these results. I know you've specialized in reversal of chronic illness and all that for years, but to actually see the technology come into play, and for some of the things you mentioned too, a lot of people treat their allergies or depression with supplements, diet, lifestyle, things like that. Some of the deeper things, such as depression or deep emotional trauma, really
Exactly.
down deeply. That's where I think technology like this really comes into play. And one of the only modalities that works for something like that, something rooted so deep in us and such a heavy trauma. This is really cool for that. So I'm really excited to have Bioharmonic Technologies on the Get Healthy platform. Excited to have your products available. And I hope we have your book available too. If not, we'll have to bring that on because, the primal resonance. Seems pretty interesting as well to read up a little bit more about yourself. And it was good to hear your history, how you dug into all of this. But we just thank you so much and look forward to working with you and Bioharmonic Technologies.